Hi, and welcome to another edition of A Few Minutes With, the podcast that showcases Illinois' College of Applied Health Sciences. I'm Vince Lara, and today I'm speaking with football star Jake Hansen, who recently graduated from the kinesiology program and is now a grad student in RST. We talk about football, AHS, and the future. I am going to start and ask you about football first, because I worked for Rivals for a while, and I'm interested. So you're from Florida. Your dad went to BYU and played football there. So how did Illinois get on your radar?
I was committed, my beginning of my senior year, I committed to Iowa State, and committed there for a bit, and then they changed staffs, and I had to decommit because basically I didn't have an offer from them anymore, and then I was uncommitted for about a month, and then Illinois offered me, and I came on a visit here. And I pulled the trigger because I loved it, and it was another big part of the recruiting process for me. Like, I knew I was a Power 5 linebacker, and I knew that I could compete at the highest level, and Illinois was my biggest offer, so I took it.
Yeah, did it have to do with Coach Lovey, or was it anything particular about the staff?
I mean, I liked the staff, but Coach Smith wasn't there when I initially committed.
Okay.
He was hired in February, and I had already signed, so I was already locked in here, so I didn't really have a choice, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. Last year you were a semifinalist for the Butkus Award. You're on the watch list this year. And since you're an Illini and for what Dick Butkus did for this area and the kind of star he was here and the legend he was here, does it mean more for you as an Illini to be on that list?
Of course, and it's something that you just want to carry on.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not completely externally motivated by someone else being on the list and the fact that they went here, but it's being named after them. For me, it's more about just I'm kind of internal motivated to just do it for myself, and no matter where I was, you know what I mean?
Yep. I totally understand that. All right, let me move on to the academics because that's, to me, is the really interesting part as somebody who works for AHS. And, we have our fair share of athletes in this program. There's a lot of guys in RST. I'm wondering why you picked AHS, and particularly why you picked kinesiology as your major.
So I'm really interested in, exercise and how the body moves and different biomechanics and things like that. So that was something that really got my attention early. I applied in high school because I knew at some point in my life I kind of want to do train guys and train professional athletes and that kind of deal, and eventually own my own gym and have guys come in for combine prep type things. So get guys ready for that type of thing. So that's stuff that really interests me a lot.
Yeah, football obviously is the main goal, correct?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, all right. So you're thinking down the line someplace, your 10-year all-pro career is over, and Jake Hansen says to himself, "I'm going to start a gym thanks to my kinesiology degree."
Yeah, hopefully that. That's the plan. If I can do that, maybe I won't have to do any type of work after that. But yeah, football, of course, is my number one goal right now over getting into the actual workforce. But the degree's great for my later life and moving on past that,
Yeah. You're scheduled to graduate this semester?
I already graduated.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, congrats, man. So are you planning? What's your grad degree? I'm assuming you're going to go to grad school then.
Yeah, I'm in a grad program currently. I'm in the RST one.
Okay, great.
RST, yeah.
So that's great to talk to you about both of those programs. Let me ask you this: the professors you had in kinesiology, who were your? Let me say it this way: who had the most impact on you? Do you feel?
Most impact. Honestly, I'd probably say Professor Bopart. She, she was one of the first classes that got into like how you metabolize macronutrients, and that was really interesting to me. And I had to study really hard for a class, and she was really cool the whole time, and I think we had a good relationship. So I would say such a bow part.
Gotcha. And have you haven't started your RST program yet, right? But what made you pick?
No, I have started.
Oh, you have started. Okay. What made you?
I'm in summer classes right now.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. So what made you pick RST? Is it just you like the sports aspect of it, like where that leads?
Yeah, the RST, and it's kind of like it's a lot of like right now we're learning a lot about like event management. So like going over that type of thing is I think is really important to be able to like manage events and put on different like events and to create experiences for different people. So that's important, and it's something I'm learning a lot about every day, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
Do you know what was your favorite course in kinesiology? Was it the course you took with Professor Bopart, or was it something else that you had?
I would probably say the most interesting one was that one. Yeah, that one, and like I really learned like when it was like really about exercise. We studied a lot about exercise. Like it was I can't remember the professor's name, but we studied a lot about like the different type of muscle movements and things like that, and different types of way to exercise, and how much protein intake you need for different type of athletes, like a endurance athlete or like performance athlete. So it's both like those courses really interested me. I like nutrition, something I'm really interested in as well. I just didn't really have time to do the nutrition. Like I was thinking about doing a nutrition minor with it, but with football and everything, it was kind of a big course load as well.
Sure.
And didn't have a ton of time with that. So.
Yeah, how do you expect to manage, being a grad student and all the demands of football? I know your program is going to be online, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Online.
So, I mean, I think some athletes, they don't realize like the amount of work that goes into school as well. So, how are you managing both of those things?
For me, I learned kind of my freshman year really how to like do that. It was a couple little road bumps. I had to drop a couple classes, and that kind of taught me like how I needed to time manage things, and I think it's just like by now I'm kind of experienced on how to do it and how to set up my like work week and know when I have to log into Compass or whatever site that the class is on, basically. So I'd say just learning from early and learning from some of my mistakes, and just communicating with all the people that are trying to help you, because there's a lot of people in your corner, especially here at Illinois.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'd be remiss not to ask about how COVID is affecting you both, in what you hope is your professional career and in school. So you're back on campus, I'm assuming you're training, right, with the team?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah.
For a sec.
You're back on campus now and training with the team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back on campus, yeah.
So, like, how is that going to work? Do you expect to play football this fall? And if not, would you play in the spring?
That's a good question. Okay. And there's a lot of... So, I expect to play football in the fall.
Okay.
The closer we get... Like a couple months ago, I was a little bit skeptical. I was like, I don't know, man. We're getting closer, and I didn't think, I don't know. But the closer we get, I think people are really pushing for football this year, and I think that we're going to play. And I'm excited for it, and I'm expecting to play, and I'm fully prepared to. But if it were to get canceled, there's a lot of variables that go into that. It could be, like you said, could be in the spring, could get completely canceled and move to. I'd end up maybe having to take another year of eligibility, and it just depends on what the NFL schedule is as far as like the combine and pro day, and if they want to move because we moved, and it's a lot of variables that go into that. So it's a lot of like what ifs, and I'm trying to avoid playing the what if game right now. So it's up in the air right now,
Right. That some of your teammates and now former teammates were in RST. So Brandon Peters is an RST student, and Wally Batiku was RST, and now with the Giants. So do you communicate with those guys about like what they're thinking about with football, and especially with Wally because he's now in the NFL? He's now with a team. Do you ever like ask those guys how it goes at this point for what's next? Especially Wally because he's actually gone through this.
I haven't talked to Wally a ton about it. I talked to Brandon a little bit more. I just asked him what's the course like, what's the course load, like how does it, do you like it, do you enjoy the classes, and he was able, like he's here now still, obviously, so
right.
And we have a good relationship, so it was more through Brandon for me to ask him about what it's like, so, and he enjoyed it, so it was kind of a no-brainer after that.
Gotcha. My thanks to Jake Hansen. For more podcasts on Illinois College of Applied Health Sciences, search A Few Minutes With on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, radio.com, and other places you get your podcast fix. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.